This is Power Athlete Radio. With your hosts, Denny K, Professor Booty, and the Luke Summers. And now, toes forward, hips locked, shoulders set, and retract those scapulars. It's time for some knowledge bombs.
Tuning into Power Athlete Radio. This week we chat with CrossFit Games competitor Christy Phillips Adkins. 2015 is a very special year for Christy as she temporarily takes leave from her work as a full-time nurse to pursue life as a professional athlete. This strategic move might be just the thing to put the six-time individual competitor on top of this year's CrossFit Games. Hear what provoked the 5'4", 135-pound frame Christy to lift weights well into college and eventually pursue a degree in exercise science. Christy also takes a few moments to reminisce on all the changes and transformations that the CrossFit Games has seen throughout the years. From women's weights steadily climbing to the format of what was once called sectionals. Do you remember a time when each sectional competition had liberty to create its own unique set of workouts? We also discussed the existence of trash talking in a sport whose roots are comprised of group suffering and community. Christy comments on the most outspoken and confident among the elite few, and to unabashedly remark to her once, "Sometimes I lift a weight and I'm like, fuck, I'm strong." How is Christy attacking the open, both in terms of weekly prep, programming, and the workouts themselves? Those secrets lie just moments away. And this news just in, avid listeners of Power Athlete Radio reportedly claim to have become smarter, stronger, better looking, and more successful both sexually and financially, simply as a result of hearing the show. When asked to comment, these listeners were unavailable on account of not being real. This is episode 98.
What's happening, Power Athlete Nation? Welcome to another episode of Power Athlete Radio. This is Denny. I'm here with John, Luke, Tex, and Callie. We're ready to rock and roll and start another badass episode of this podcast.
Hell yeah.
Is that a nice intro or what?
It's getting better.
It's getting better, right? I'm trying to get rid of the Chicago accent.
My favorite was...
we need that shit.
Signature. The voice.
The voice.
When you introduced us as Strength and Conditioning's premier podcast. Yeah. I think that was my favorite one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with that one, too. I agree with that.
I mean, we just need DJ Muscle Boy to do our intro.
It's in the works.
Yeah, it's in the works.
We've
been in contact with DJ Muscle Boy. Mm-hmm. Look at that podcast. That's a muscular fucking podcast.
Oh, we need that.
I would venture to say we're the most muscular podcast in the world.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Other than maybe like the John Meadows, Shelby Starnes, but they're like shorter than us.
Yeah.
So like we're the most muscular podcast over 5'7".
And we have now Christy Phillips. Christy, thank you so much for popping on here. You can actually turn off your video because this won't. This will be an audio podcast if you want. Please. The video slows down. I don't know what it is. The connection. The bandwidth? I don't know.
Bandwidth.
I don't understand these things.
It slows the force down.
Yeah.
To use the
So how's it going, Christy? How are you?
Great. How are you guys?
I'm doing well, doing very well. Thank you so much for joining us.
And thanks for having me. I'm so sorry about being late. I had chicken on the skillet, like vegetables going, and completely spaced out.
That's a legitimate excuse.
Yeah.
That's legit. You got to feed the machine.
The machine in the zone.
I get it. I mean, you are basically a CrossFit celebrity, and therefore you have needs that far exceed our own.
Today's opening day.
That's right.
There's a lot on my mind on opening day now.
Yeah. So I mean, let's just dive right into it. Tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do? What's your athletic background? And your experience and history with CrossFit up until this point.
Sure. Well, I I was first introduced to CrossFit in 2007 when I was graduating from GW with a degree in exercise science and working at a Globo gym. So I feel pretty fortunate to have started CrossFit so many years ago when we were all newbies, really. And I feel that I've grown with the sport. And every year it's almost like, gosh, I feel like I got just that little bit better in just enough time to qualify.
Yeah.
And so it's been an amazing experience just being a CrossFitter and then competing for the last 6 years, actually.
What was your sports background?
I did cross-country basketball and lacrosse in high school, and my favorite sport was basketball. I was best at cross-country, but my lacrosse coach was the one who encouraged me to try out and walk on to the GW lacrosse team. And I will never forget her saying, what are you going to do? Go home from school and watch Oprah every afternoon? That's just not you.
Yeah.
So I really have always admired that she was able to get me there. And so I played lacrosse my freshman year at GW. It was a great experience, and that's what got me into strength and conditioning. That was my introduction to a strength program. And I liked it so much, I changed my degree from communications to exercise science. And I actually stopped playing lacrosse and just, enjoyed college for a few years. And then by senior year of college, circled back around to, oh, yeah, I don't want to just study strength and be in a gym and train as well.
Right, absolutely. So, what are your feelings now leading up into, I guess, when are the workouts posted, today or tomorrow?
Yes, the workout will be posted tonight. They're doing the big announcement, I guess, at Reebok CrossFit 1 in Boston. So I've been seeing a lot of fun social media pictures of that event. And I'll be here in Northern Virginia at my house, but watching the announcement live. And the minute the first movements start coming out of Dave Castro's mouth, your mind just starts churning. Okay, what does this mean for me? And how am I going to plan, strategize, and what's this going to feel like? So it's an exciting time of year. I think you feel like you're a CrossFitter all year. You feel competitive all year, and then this day finally gets here, and you're like, okay, all that competitive energy that's been building up in the last few months since the games it's here, and we're able to pour it out.
Yeah.
Do you know when you're gonna first do the workout?
Tomorrow morning, maybe around 10 or 11. The luxury of being an athlete this year is that I'll be able to do it right in the middle of the day.
How did you prepare for this week? Did you take like a deload week? Did you kind of taper your program, or are you the type of person that just keeps going at it and doesn't even change up their pace?
I've been trying to approach the open workouts this year just like other years, but it's been hard, or it's been a little bit funny in your mind because of the changes this year, where top 20 will be top 20 from the Mid-Atlantic will be the ones qualified to go to regionals, and the introduction of the scale division. So those two factors make you wonder, is this going to be different than other years? But my approach has been, and it continues to be this year, that I want to keep up my intensity in training and keep up the volume of training. And so I'm doing that, but I'm also taking the open as seriously as I do every year. So I usually have a rest day the day before. So today is my rest day, and that's why my schedule's been all off. I had a massage this morning, which was great.
Sure.
Just having that day. But my other days this week were pretty normal. And I think that's a good thing. I'll go in tomorrow and do a warm up and hopefully feel pretty normal and just hit the workout hard.
What would you consider like your strengths? Are you, because I'm looking over your athlete profile. You got some legitimate numbers. So would you be, do you feel you excel more at like the gymnastics part of CrossFit, or are you?
Well,
is it the strength?
Let me interrupt here for 1 second, too. It strikes me as such a surprise that Christy said that she loved basketball, because I've met Christy and I've seen her numerous times, and she is by no means a Amazonian tall basketball player, like, built type person. Like, I mean, Christy, how tall are you and what do you weigh?
I am 5'4", and
yeah.
Giving me the grace of maybe like 1/8 of an inch.
Yeah.
And I weigh 135 these days. Sometimes I can get up to maybe 138, but a lot of times I'm in at like 132. So
yeah. So when you look at her numbers too, you have to understand, like, we're talking about a really I'll be generous and call you a very compact individual because you're very small. So.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, so she packs a huge punch for her size. But anyway, go ahead and address your strengths for us.
Well, I actually, just the other day, someone was asking me about programming, because, we all love to geek out on that stuff, and just asking me what my focuses are or what I train on a typical basis. And this time of year, I just train everything, and I thought about it. I was like, I'm not really dominant in any one thing. So there's not really anything that I can say, hey, I'm not going to train that. The exception would be on some of the endurance events. If it's running at the games, I usually can expect to do pretty well on that. And so I don't end up doing a lot of running endurance until that time of year, until maybe May and June. But other than that, nothing is a strength, and I don't mean that in like a low self-esteem way, but just in that I have to stay very even in my training domains. So I work with Kara Heads, Olympic weightlifting coach, a couple times a week. I've worked with multiple different 3 different gymnastics coaches, just for little sessions here and there. And then I have my coach, John Main, doing my CrossFit programming, who I met actually back in 2007 when I was first introduced to CrossFit. And so he just makes sure that it's really varied, and we pull from the main site, we'll pull from other programmers who put their stuff out there. We just try to do a lot of couplets, triplets, and interval and EMOMs, everything.
That is intense. So yeah. So I have to say that, it's funny you reference your endurance aspect, and I remember one of the very first videos I ever saw of you was set to that Beyonce song. I'm sure you know which one I'm talking about.
Oh,
Diva. Dude, somebody spliced together some of that had to have been when sectionals was going on, or regionals or something. Probably like one of your first years or something. You know which competition I'm talking about?
Yeah. Oh, I have amazing memories from that, because that was the year. This is crazy, but every region did their own programming. So whoever was in charge of running the regional event, they just did their own program, whatever they wanted to do.
Right.
Which was like, when you look back now, people would be outraged by that.
Yeah, totally. But the thing I remember very notably was, not only was it just sort of like a powerful video, and I'll link it up to the blog post, because even now, as cheesy as it is, like, I'll still, like, whenever I hear that song, I think of that video, because at certain parts of this workout, you are straight hauling ass at least 100 yards in front of the closest person in second place for a running portion, right? And like, you you're the first one to go out to this massive run, and you're the first person to come back, and it's like no one is even within eye shot behind you. So it's just like a super powerful video, and it looks like to me like you were clearly somebody who just has wheels, can run, has that endurance aspect.
Thanks, Kat. Yeah, that was back before. That was in 2010, so people hadn't caught on to like train, okay, this is CrossFit 2, we have to train this. And so I was lucky to just have had my cross-country running experience in my background. And so it was one of those, lucked out on that one.
Yeah. Hey, did you make a subtle reference earlier in saying that you are an athlete this year? Meaning, is this that's your full-time gig?
Yes, ma'am. I have been working after my exercise science degree, I went back and got a nursing degree. So I've been working as a registered nurse for coming up on 4 years now. And this fall, I went part-time at the school where I was a school nurse. And then at the end of this fall, I completely left that setting. And so these next few months, I get to enjoy being a full-time athlete and probably starting some nursing back in the fall of 2015. But right now, living the athlete life. And
so that's one of the things that always really struck me as interesting about you and a few of the other athletes who are competing at a pretty high level. And as far as I know, before you had the nursing gig at the school, you were you holding off hours? I mean, were you holding kind of shift work type hours at night as a nurse initially?
Yeah, that was my first job was in hospital setting, and so there were the 12-hour shifts, and it was rotating. So half the month I was doing the night hours, which will just wreck your system. So it was about 8 months that I did that going into the 2011 season, and then I had to get into a new setting. And the school nursing is ideal. It really is. It was just the right time for me to leave that school because I moved to Northern Virginia, so the school's in D.C., and so between commuting and training, something had to give. But I'm looking forward to getting back into a school setting and working as a there. But yeah, I don't recommend nights for anybody who's trying to have a level of fitness or training. It's rough.
Yeah, you should recommend it to all your competition out there.
Yeah, maybe I should recommend it.
Yeah, you were saying. I mean, it's you must just be like, there's a bunch of variables at play here, but you're definitely a very gifted athlete, in that you could overcome that because you went to the games that year, anyways, right? That didn't stop you.
It's been great. Yeah, I think everyone overcomes different lifestyle things because your life is happening. It doesn't matter, whether you're owning a gym, coaching, or have some other kind of profession like teacher, nurse. There's always something to overcome in the season, and I've realized that over the years that not to get down, not to feel bad about yourself because everybody's struggle to get to regionals and to the games is a struggle, and it is work, and there's nobody who has an easy path there. So yeah, there's been different years where I've learned what works and what doesn't work for me, but it's been great to be able to get back.
Yeah.
I'm curious if you've seen kind of a pattern of evolution in all of the CrossFit Games that you've competed in, whether it's more volume or just new movements or anything in that kind of concept.
One pattern that I found really interesting, the 2011 games had some skill tests, and they were these 3 events that would score as one event, and some of the events were max weighted pull-up, max snatch, max handstand walk, the infamous softball toss, and then this rogue fitness can carry. Do you guys remember that one? That was a farmer's carry with those cans.
Luke would remember that because he follows the games closely every year. So
I'm at the games hustling our booth. I miss, unfortunately, everything unless there's that big jumbotron in front of us, which I don't think I was there that year, though.
That was the 2011 games, and then regionals came out this year, and it had a lot of high-skill tests. And, I mean, they ended up being the full workout, but I was just like, history really does repeat itself. That's really interesting how regionals had that snatch, they had the handstand walk, they had the high skill of the strict handstand push-ups.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. I think there's definitely patterns. I think the evolution has been of the athletes and their capabilities. The games has been great because they did increase. I think the weights have been going up, but there was a definitive point, I think maybe that's in 2011, I think that same year maybe, where there were these heavy deadlifts, and I was wondering to myself, when is this going to stop? When, every year are that deadlifts going to go up by 50 pounds for the ladies? And that year the weights kind of evened out, but everybody's ability just went through the roof. So this year we had 21:15:9 complex at the games that had the ladies moving a 115-pound barbell. So when you think about some of the best lifters in CrossFit the ladies being able to snatch 200 pounds and clean and jerk well over that, 115 is not that heavy, but that workout, we moved through it. The best times were 4.5 to 5.5 minutes.
What?
So it's just the evolution of the athlete, really. And the games have been every year they find new and inventive ways to test fitness, but they've been a great test and high volume and heavy, I think, since 2010, really.
Yeah. So let's talk about the other evolution of the athletes, which is, I mean, how do you, from somebody who is sort of in the spotlight when it comes, especially when season is in full swing, and since you are a repeat offender to the games, and you're around a lot of the personalities that are involved, at the highest level. How, I mean, number one, like, I'm curious as to how you stay so humble, because you're very, like, when you're chatting with people, it's a very, like, unassuming type of aura. Like, you would never think that, for instance, this, like, nurse who's teaching nursing, or who's the nurse for a school for ballerinas in Washington, D.C., that she would be capable of these feats, but I mean, how do you stay humble, and then how do you deal with all the other personalities? And, like, really, you can take this time to talk some shit too, if you want.
Appreciate that. I don't know what to say. I think the staying humble or just being humble in CrossFit is essential to having any level of success in CrossFit, because the minute you get overconfident or cocky about a workout or a movement or your domination over another competitor, you get put right in your place really fast. And so I've learned that lesson over and over and over again. I mean, most recently would be when I heard the first workout of the CrossFit Games this year was a long swim with some burpees and thrusters thrown in there. I was like, sweet, this is it. Like, we'll start the week off good. I'm a good endurance athlete. I'm not afraid of getting in the ocean. And I just got knocked on my ass. I ended up taking, I think, like 22nd place. But more than that, mentally, when I was in the water, I was tired and scared of the waves, and so having those humbling experiences over and over again, and learning from them, it's, you would be foolish to be talking crap about how good you are or how much better you are than someone else. Yeah.
I mean, are there, you don't obviously, like, I don't want you to name anyone, I know you wouldn't, but, like, does it ever surprise you, some people's level of confidence going into these things? Or, I mean, there's one thing to be confident, there's another thing to sort of be, like, boastful and, kind of cocky.
You know, a couple years ago, I remember Tommy Hackenbrook saying that there's not enough trash talking in CrossFit, and I would have to agree. I think it'd be pretty funny if there was more trash talking. So
Yeah.
just as a comic relief standpoint. So you know, that being said, I'm not going to start. I'm not throwing the first.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think I think even the people who may have had a comment or two that come off as cocky, it's not cocky, it's confident. And especially for the women in this sport, they can say something, and maybe this is just my feminist opinion coming out, but women generally haven't been rewarded for coming out with a confident, upfront, blunt statement and saying, you know, I'm good enough to win the games, or I'm good enough to be the fittest on earth. That takes a level of confidence that people might interpret as arrogance, but I think that's what it takes to get the title and to not let it fake it. So
Yeah.
So
If you're dreaming, you can do it.
yeah.
Yeah, didn't Camille say that? Like, I remember when they had those the idea where they had to scale the wall, and the girls were talking about like the wall was high and it was a problem. And I remember they interviewed her, and she's like, "It wasn't hard for me. I do this stuff." And,
Yeah, that's fine.
you know, I remember she was pretty confident.
How arrogant.
And when she first came in, was like pretty confident, and then obviously got kicked in the ass for a couple years, and then like kind of like rebooted and came back and win it. So I always wonder if some of that like kind of young arrogance kind of gets you a little bit, and then you get kicked in the teeth a couple times, and you're like, you know what, I'm going to back it down a little, become a little more humble, and hopefully go and win this thing. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it happens to every athlete. Like there's nothing like arrogance, or more importantly, like confidence, and for life to like kick you in the ribs a few times for you to be like, you know what, I'm just not going to put myself out there like that. Let me just pretend to be a little humble.
Bring you down a peg or two.
Yeah, it fucking happens.
I love it. I love some of the comments that I've had Camille say, like that I've heard her say to me, or just in general, they just get me going. They inspire me. The best one that I have from a couple years ago was we were just talking about training, I was asking her how her Olympic weightlifting was going, and just commenting how she has made so many improvements from 2010 to 2011. She goes, I know, sometimes I lift a weight and I just go, fuck, I'm strong.
Oh my God.
And I just think about that when I lift. I go, I try to channel that because, like, damn it, I love that.
Yeah, it's in more people. It's in some people's nature to be a little bit more sort of like they're very comfortable with relaying that to people. Like they're very comfortable telling people how confident they are. And some people, they're like, not
Hey, facts are facts.
not as comfortable. But yeah, I mean, I can agree. I have friends who are unabashedly strong and have no problem telling you that. And maybe it's just a reflection of my own mediocrity that I don't just go around telling everyone, like, for instance, that
you look like Ronda Rousey?
that I can do more push-ups than Luke or more dips.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
dip off. I will challenge you.
Oh yeah,
Allie, you are an exceptional woman.
Am I an exceptional woman? What's up with this?
I
feel
am a unique
Luke, you are a strong, confident
Luke.
for women.
nice. Thanks, John.
And gosh darn it, people like
Kelly,
you.
break that down.
You know what? I don't think so. Now we're pushing the boundaries.
The thing about CrossFit is though, like, no manner of shit talking is going to eliminate the fact that people, when they're out there competing at the games, you see them like hugging each other and clapping. You're like, fuck. You're like, these people love each other, and like that's
shared
what
suffering.
Shared suffering, and they love it, and that's fantastic. And it will never be this environment that breeds like just negative shit talking. It's never. I mean, I guess eventually it could if it comes down to
hug at the end of the Super Bowl though, or was that fighting?
That was a group hug.
You know what?
That was not a group hug.
I was thinking about this. Like in CrossFit's unique in that I'm sure there's a lot of sports like it, but like there's very few sports that continually strip you down to your like most basic emotional level. Like in
every time I come to work. How about that?
Well, you are a gentle snowflake, and it's warm here. But like you watch, it doesn't matter if you walk down and go to your normal gym down the street, or if you're at the CrossFit Games, like it strips people away, and you see these guys doing these workouts, and they're at like their most vulnerable. Like this is like them stripped away, all the bullshit, everything. And I think that's what people like about the humanity. And in that like moment where everything's been stripped away, the most difficult thing to do is to talk shit and to fucking ride.
Yeah, no one's good. No one even has the energy to do it.
You're just trying to basically.
They thruster it out of you.
Well, no. I mean, it's like you're holding on to all your energy to keep your vitals going. You're like, if I thruster one more time, my body's either going to have to reroute some power away from my brain, or my heart's.
That's what I'm saying. The blood goes to your vital organs and your muscles, not your brain. So no one even has a thought process of talking shit. It's science.
That's why, like, Homer Simpson would do wonderful at CrossFit.
Oh, the best.
Gaim.
I think I got the quote for today's show. Homer Simpson would do great.
Homer Simpson would be a CrossFit Games champion.
And you know who else would win the CrossFit Games?
No.
Me?
Christy Phillips. Christy Adkins.
Yeah, Dr. Squat, Fred Hatfield.
So, moving on to more relevant topics.
Relevant. I like talking.
Good. So what is, just as we're sort of talking about this like confidence aspect and the mental side, do you have like a mental approach? I mean, do you have sort of like a visualization technique, or do you go in with a clear mind? What's your thought process like when you're competing?
I am a total head case, to be honest with
Really? I would never have ever thought that, because I've seen you compete a bunch, and you look really focused and calm. Like, you look calm through all your transitions. You're never flustered.
Yeah, I am able to get there, but it takes a lot. So I'm glad that you see that side. But yeah, especially around regionals, it's a lot of visualization, because you have the opportunity to do that. You have all the workouts, and you just got to go through the visualization over and over. And then the part that I have been learning how to deal with is then reacting and being able to react positively when things aren't going exactly as you visualize, because nothing ever will. That's the nature of sport, is to react and fly. And so there's a lot of that going on. And then at the games, it's just trying to hang on to the roller coaster and trying to, you are taken through highs and lows all weekend, and you just have to try to find a way to become the driver and be in a little more control of it, because sometimes I'm just on this crazy ride and crashing at my lows, and then trying to ride the highs. So.
Yeah. I think you make an interesting point, and that's something that is very like rampant in sports psychology, is the ability to bounce back after all the preparation. It's the ability to bounce back from something like a variable or something that happens that creates some sort of negative impact on your performance. And what separates the mediocre from the amazing, or the good from the great, is the great's ability to turn that around on a dime and clear their mind from it immediately. So I guess psychologically it can linger in an athlete's mind, and obviously they're thinking about it going into the next movement or the next play or what have you, and even subconsciously it can be there. And some athletes, whether it's just the way their brains are wired, or it's through habitual practice, that they can really, really harness other techniques that counter that reaction. So that's cool.
I believe it's through that deliberate practice rather than, it comes naturally. It's something everybody has to work on, and every competitor has to work on, and the people that get it the fastest and practice it the most are doing the best.
Yeah. Do you find that's something hard to replicate in your training, since you're training with a bunch of normies? Or I know that you train with common folk. I know that you do train with higher level athletes, but
we like to refer to them as
elite athletes. Is it something like, because there's nothing like game speed, right? There's nothing like the actual being at regionals and sort of having that stress and pressure on you. But can you really like replicate that in your training?
I mean, you have exactly put your finger on the pulse of my like search right now. Actually,
right.
I actively seek out training partners to push me because I do go. There are weeks that I go through my training by myself. So this past month, January and February have been like actively seeking out those training partners. Have of course Gretchen Kittleberger, who is one of my good friends and at the same gym. But our strengths and weaknesses are very different, and so we don't end up doing a lot of the same programming. So recently, I've been going up to 12 Labors CrossFit, which were formerly known as CrossFit Syndicate. They got 9th as a team at the games this year, and I've been training some sessions with them. Next week, I will be spending 2 weeks in San Francisco with CrossFit Invictus and seeing how their team trains. And I just am trying to build off that energy that's formed by a team, formed by a bunch of individuals coming together to train for a common goal. So I've been fortunate that those teams have been welcoming to me and let me kind of invite myself in and try to like get their energy, suck out their enery.
So how did Grid League kind of play into this kind of team atmosphere and then that quick turnaround in mental preparation?
Oh man, Grid League was an amazing experience because it was coming right off the games, and it was so refreshing to be training CrossFit movements, but in a little bit of a different style, and to be with a team. So it was just the kind of thing that would push off any. I wasn't feeling any burnout, but it allowed me to get back to training even faster than I normally do after the games, because I had all these people around me who were super enthusiastic, super strong, gunning for trying to get the fastest reps in at any one particular movement, trying to learn new skills as fast as you can. So yeah, that experience this fall inspired me to be like, all right, let's seek out some of the best teams in the CrossFit game and see if I can learn anything from them when I train.
Sounds like a throwdown challenge. Any of our listeners out there who want to travel and do a little wad-off?
Train with Christy.
And teach her what's up, show her how it's done. I'm personally retired, so I'll bow out.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I would love to see that.
Leg press off.
Oh, I can do that.
What's that, Christy?
You guys going to be in Atlanta for regionals? I know you were at Mid-Atlantic.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll be there.
Sweet.
Some of us.
All right.
Is that where you're going to be?
Yeah. Top 20 from the Open in the Mid-Atlantic will be combining with top 20 from the Open in Southeast.
That's right.
Gotcha.
The mega regional.
Yeah, that's pretty presumptuous, Christy, to think that you're going to make regional. Just kidding.
You guys guarantee it. I don't know what I'm going to be doing.
I'm just giving you a hard time. Of course, you're gonna get like first place in regionals, and and everyone's gonna, it's not gonna be a big surprise at all. So are you what's the deal with Grid League this year? Are you thinking about attacking that again?
Yeah, I think it'll be really fun. We haven't had any official announcements that I know of when their season's going to be. But the word on the street is the season will be August, September, October, like it was last year. And if that's the case, then I'm in. I mean, that it was a blast, and I loved getting to know my DC Brawlers teammates, and they're very good friends now. So
great. Hey, just, out of curiosity, are you ever just tired of lifting weights? Do you ever just get tired of competing at a level that is so high that I imagine the soreness, and maybe you can just describe to us what it's like to go 3-4 days competing in a row and what it's like to I don't know, deal with the trauma that is involved with that volume of competition?
the competing's the best part, and so 3 or 4 days of competing is just like this adrenaline rush.
Mm-hmm.
But, no, you do get tired of lifting weights. You guys probably have similar experiences if you're in the middle of a strength cycle or you're just feeling run down. But I just try to have a day to recoup, cried out a little bit.
Watch some Lifetime movies.
Yep.
It sounds a lot like Luke and Callie over there, just crying it out.
Yeah, Wednesday cry day.
A lot of crying. That's what you relate to training today?
I get baseball, but I'm going to be honest with you, there is a lot of crying in CrossFit sometimes.
Seriously, oh my gosh.
I've been there.
I've never seen. Okay, dude, I've definitely seen it. I myself have. That's why I would never ever be a good competitor, because I have never been brought to the point in a competition where I thought that I was going to cry.
I never saw anybody cry in the NFL.
Ellie,
That was a day for meal as a coach.
Up and you're just training by yourself.
Yeah.
You're on
That's it.
10 of your 10 rep max back squat. And
Oh.
You're hating life right then.
That has definitely happened. In fact, Luke referenced one of my favorite moments out here in California is I didn't think there was one day where I didn't think anyone was coming to Balboa. At the time we were training in Balboa, and it was a Sunday or probably around 2 or 3 o'clock, and I had all the lights off in the gym, and I had, oh my God, even as I'm telling the story, I hate myself, but I was rowing in the dark in Balboa, and there was Coldplay on in the back.
Yeah, she had the Coldplay Pandora radio station on.
Did you just walk in and you were like,
is everything? Oh, it was being Bo.
It was like you guys are doing like a draft. Like a draft meeting or something for like one of your brackets or something.
We were just like, Callie, you okay? She's like, yeah. Just wouldn't make eye contact. Like there was a single tear on the right side. We were looking at her left profile, and quite honestly, all I could think of is like, wow, she's rowing really slow.
You can't row fast with Coldplay. It's just like
I can.
That's
my pump up jam.
So weird that like she had row hard for 5 minutes and then do some form of like cutting for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And so she had all these little slits on her arms. So okay.
Yep. And I gotta just feel alive.
Coldplay row.
Coldplay row. So.
And how did it work out though? Did it work? Was it therapeutic?
Yeah, I think so. And then embarrassment settled in, but.
You're like, God damn it.
Yeah. So I can relate to that. Okay, I was just curious, if
you've done Coldplay rows.
You rode in the dark to Coldplay.
That's good to know. I mean, it's good to know.
He does it at least once a week.
It's good to know that even at the games, like the adrenaline is such that it allows you to sort of look forward almost maybe to the next day or the next opportunity, I should say, to the next opportunity to sort of like, put your stake in the ground and like score well. So.
Yep, definitely.
So, ooh, someone's.
I feel like Denny's more of like a Metallica, Unforgiven, shirtless.
Oh, you know what? It's funny that you were talking about that. I was going through the Power Athlete forums, and I came across a post, John, you put up there a while ago. It was like a speech with Henry Rollins.
Yeah.
And it was you included the 200 pounds is 200 pounds. And just kind of like going through some of Rollins stuff, you read that he likes to train to ballads.
Yeah.
In that part, he's like, nothing gets me fired up when I train than like ballads.
I always picture people training to like Party in the USA by like Miley Cyrus. Like whenever I see these people like CrossFit, like whenever I see like Facebook and I see like Rich Froning training and there's no it's just
audio
like on
like
mute.
music.
All I ever hear in my head is like him just like Party in the USA. I'm like, God damn, I can't believe Rich Froning trains to Party in the USA by Miley Cyrus.
So Christy, I emailed you and I was wondering if you could shoot me over some tracks, but what do you like to train to typically?
More importantly, what's your come out music? Like you're walking out of the stadium
out
at
of
the
the
CrossFit
tunnel.
Games, walking out the tunnel, and this song is playing. What is your entrance song? What's your come out music?
Let's see.
No pressure.
Pumped up about when it comes on at CrossFit Reston would be whatever that song is. That's like boom, boom, shake, shake, drop. What your mama gave.
I have no clue.
I don't know what that one is.
I will. We were really
Google
Googling
it right now.
Yeah, this is.
Where's Ingo? Ingo would know that one like right off the top of his head.
What's our song? What's the one that we?
I don't care I love it.
Bring the action.
Oh yeah, bring the action. That's our.
What we like. That's not it.
Is this it?
Is this the one, Christy?
I don't know.
This is a remix,
I'll
dude.
wait till the beat drops, guys.
Shake now, drop. Shake now, drop. I don't know. I'm just I'm the rapping freestyle to it right now, but
We'll find it.
we will.
Random hip hop. I like.
Okay.
Of course, a sucker for pop music too, but yeah. If I'm by myself, I'll put on the hip hop. Just
Yeah.
A lot of times I'll go to Spencer Hendel's Spotify and whatever hip hop he has, his ham stuff. That's good for me.
That you're just like Danielle then. Danielle, one of the other coaches that we're mutually friends with, that she only plays 90s hip hop, and I remember one of her members asking her point blank, "Hey Danielle, was there any hip hop made after 1990?" And she just said no.
Well,
Her and we've been listening to some Rossfit lately though. We got Rick Ross going.
the weirdest, most uncomfortable one is my brother and his wife are train every day and been avid CrossFitters for years. I get in my brother's wife's truck, like we're gonna go somewhere. I get in the car and she has nothing but like 80s gangster rap. I get in and it's like.
What is 80s gangster rap?
Like Tech9, MGG, and 8-Ball, like really like I'm talking like Oakland Too Short, like the most aggressive,
wow.
like ridiculous gangster rap. And I get in the car, I'm like, do you listen to this with
The
kids
80s.
on? She's like, no, I do. This is just when I'm driving around by myself. So I think people have these guilty pleasures.
She's the most like buttoned up,
Yeah,
pristine
Karen,
person. Yeah.
the most ghetto gangster rap person you've ever met. It's
I'm getting her thug life.
oh, dude, it's unbelievable. She'd be like, oh, I have this. Like driving around in her Escalade. I'm like, oh, that's your Escalade. She's like, Escalade? I'm like, yeah, it's all. The black dudes I played with always called it Escalade.
So just give us like one or two other tracks that if you had to do, God forbid, some sort of like back-to-back girls workout.
Jesus Take the Wheel? What about that one? That's Texas song. That's his actual come-out music.
Oh man. A couple other songs.
Just curious.
Yeah. Oh, Work Bitch by Britney Spears.
That's good. That's good. That falls in line with our bring the action.
Oh, yeah.
When I something in the club, something.
No.
Yeah,
they're
that's the
all
one.
looking at us.
All looking at us. That's a different song, but yes, it's within the same genre.
I can't believe you butchered a song.
When I walk up in the
You do
club.
both. That would be
They looking at us.
Oh my God.
They looking at us.
This is This is going horrible.
No, this is great.
by Beyonce. The non-ballads of Beyonce.
Yes, agreed. Diva, Videophone.
Yep. 7-Eleven, her new one.
Yes, all very, I'm on board with those.
Didn't someone else call you White Beyonce?
Yeah, that was
no,
that
actually,
was me.
that was Callie kept referring to herself as White Beyonce.
Well, I
So
thought
laid
it
the
would
seed
catch
that
on. It was trending for a short time,
I thought
according
you
to
meant
my.
like you were walking down the street and someone was like, "Hey, you White Beyonce."
That's how she tells it.
Yeah. Christy, do you know? Speaking of celebrity sightings, do you know who Ronda Rousey is?
I love her. Yes.
So,
MMA that I know.
Oh, God.
Here it comes.
you know, listen. I don't want to boast, but both 2 days in a row now, because she, aka me, is preparing for a big fight this weekend. But both days in a row, I was asked if I was Ronda Rousey, and I will say I was tempted to say yes, but given the fact that I was in a Panera one of those days, and the other day I was. I'm clearly
eating bread and crying.
No, just coffee and working. But yeah, that is a lookalike.
That makes sense. You were drinking coffee out of a bread bowl.
Yeah. Well, how do you drink it?
You know what? You should take that act to Vegas and just that's
Just listening to
that's
hosts
you.
This weekend.
Take me to church.
I need to. I heard she looked good in Sports Illustrated.
She did. It's pretty good.
So
Don't worry, we got your photo shoot. Amanda's going to come in with the
Planned.
coconut oil and get you ready.
Yeah, get
Do you think we might be able to meet her soon? Because she is a Reebok athlete now.
Is she really?
Reebok athlete.
Oh my God.
She lives out in the IE, which is east of us.
What's that, Christy?
Beastabucks?
I think you should fight her, Callie.
I'm not gonna fight her. Just mainly because like
you don't want to mess up her face.
Yeah, because like she would kick my ass, so I think that would probably be like that would turn out sort of badly for me. But I will admire her from afar.
Isn't she in like the new Expendables movie?
And the new Entourage movie.
She's in Expendables 3.
Expendables 3, yeah.
Yeah, it's actually my favorite Expendables. I've seen it a dozen times.
I have a hard time picking a favorite, I'll be honest with you.
Really?
Yeah.
I find it easy.
Yeah, when they're all equally as terrible, it's hard. It is hard to choose.
Well, it's actually the only one I have left on my phone.
So Christy, before we get too far off the rails here, I'm curious, are you doing any coaching right now, or are you just it's all about focusing on it's all about you?
The athlete. No, I'm coaching. So yeah, coaching or personal training has been a part of my life since 2007, and so right now I'm coaching at CrossFit Reston, and really enjoying that group coaching again, because I've been doing just a little bit of personal training here and there for a couple of years. So I'm loving it.
You like the coaching aspect then? I mean, is there anything that you find to be like a challenge, or anything that you sort of, I mean, it can be a challenge, but especially for someone like you who's seen so much already, and it's not like this is not your first rodeo type thing.
Well, I'm only coaching about 8 to 10 hours a week, which is like perfect. That it's refreshing, and so I love it. I love introducing people that are completely new to CrossFit, and so of course we have that clientele in the classes, but we also, Gretchen and I just started a little advanced class or a competitors class a couple times a week at the gym for our members, and so that's been fun too. Just working with some athletes that have an interest in local competitions or getting skills that they want to be better at for the Open, and so it's really fun.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good to stay sort of like, it's almost good to have that as like I don't know, sort of remembering where you started from, because you'll see new faces that are just sort of have that thrill of CrossFit for the first time, and it must be somewhat invigorating to have that interaction. It's always good.
You learn a lot about, you just think and learn about movement a little bit differently when you have to teach it rather than you're coached by someone else or you're doing it yourself. And so, it was something that I just was happy to have back in my life, was the group coaching starting in this new year in January.
Cool. And kind of lastly, I mean, what predictions do you have for whether it be the Open or the Games? Do you have anything that you're sort of like thinking? Is there like anything that comes through the grapevine where, you know, so-and-so said that you guys will have to, I have no idea. Like bicep curls are going to be like one RM bicep curls, or you have to fight to the death or something?
No huge predictions. I will say that that Sam Briggs is now in the Southeast region. So if I'm getting to regionals and she gets to regionals, we will be seeing each other in Atlanta. So,
that's bullshit.
So where's Sam Briggs living now?
Crazy. Sam is living in Miami.
Oh, wow.
What? I was thinking like, I don't know,
she
southeast.
Own a gym in Manchester?
I'm like, what's southeast of England?
Well, and Camille's competing in, she's in Southern California, or she's in the Colorado, whatever, that's southwestern region.
So I actually had an opportunity to, you know, get to hang out with Sam for the week leading up to the American Open. She was in DC. I was just thrilled to be able to get to know her better, and we trained together at Reston for a few days. And she didn't really mention that she's going to be in that region. I don't know if she had decided that yet. So I here in Atlanta and just like mean mug her. Like, come on, Sam, what's up?
She was waiting to see what you were gonna do.
Yeah.
I didn't know whether to be a little insulted because it's like, okay, we trained together, and then she's like, yep, I think this is the region. I think I'll be okay here.
Right, yeah.
Is that trash talk? Reverse trash talk?
That's daggers.
Sounds like trash talking.
That's trash action.
No, bring the trash can.
Bring the trash can.
So Luke and I actually have some predictions for the games. We spent a lot of nights on the road.
This is a fact.
Hotels.
This is not a real thing.
It's true.
If you are listening and you want to hear
they're going to flood the tennis court, and you're going to have to lunge and run through water. Imagine how fucking hard that is.
1 foot of water.
No. When years ago, when they first went to the StubHub Center, they had plans to actually bring in ice and build because they can do that for like the jumps for like the snowmobiles.
Mm-hmm.
So they had plans, and that was, I swear to God, this is a true story. They can also build like motocross dirt. But there was a plan to actually have some form of ice climbing built in on the court where they would bring in and do ice stuff.
So here's the plot thickens.
In Southern California.
They are definitely going to flood the tennis courts. The water will be either 1 to 3 feet high, and the undisputed CrossFit Games champion will be Mike Ditka, because Ditka can walk on water.
Oh my God.
That's a fact.
Done. Sausage.
Bears.
That was
there's one more, Callie. Callie, there's one more if you'll allow it.
I allow it.
And they will disrupt everyone's sleeping patterns, and they're going to have a midnight rodeo workout. They're just going to go knocking down all the hotel doors, get everyone going after 3 hours of sleep, and then just put them through some terrible workout.
That's
X Factor.
It's going to actually involve
very
your
Navy
food and
SEAL.
save them on fire.
Navy
I
SEAL.
like the climbing thing, though. I mean, that's one event that they haven't added was some sort of like a rock climb or a huge climbing wall.
Yeah, it's going to be an ice climb, dude.
An ice climb. There's the shit right there. You heard it here first, folks.
Sports bras and just short shorts, booty shorts, ice climb.
And knee highs.
Mm-hmm.
On dudes.
Are you guys done?
Ditka in a sports bra? Can't wait.
Callie, we'll have more next week.
Sausage.
Sausage.
Well, Christy, I wish you nothing but the best of luck leading up to the Open and regionals and the games. I hope you've had pretty good health. Like you've managed to stay pretty injury free, correct?
Yeah, thank you.
I'm knocking on wood. We're knocking on wood for you. And just personally and selfishly, I'm wishing nothing but the best for you because you are definitely one of the most humble athletes out there, and your persona is such that it's just somebody where you want them to win. It's not somebody who is a douche, to be honest with you.
She's the total package.
You are the total package.
Yeah. So. I'm blushing. We turn the video.
Anything you want to plug? The show is winding down, so anything you want to plug for yourself? Anything you want people to see or do, or are you like leading your own seminars now, or what?
No, not leading my own seminars. I am going to be developing my fundraising page soon for Barbells for Boobs, Barbells for Boobs Advocate, and what I'm going to do is something fun where if you donate then a certain amount, then I will send you one of my own Barbells for Boobs t-shirts and then maybe some other gear like wrist wraps and other paraphernalia I've collected over the years. So just donate to Barbells for Boobs and look for my fundraising page soon.
That's awesome.
And then can people follow you on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever?
Yes, all of those things. Christy CrossFit is my Instagram handle, and then you can find Twitter and Facebook from there too. But Christy CrossFit.
All right. Well, we'll be looking for you, and I hope that I can get to see you at one of the Grid League events. I think that'd be pretty badass.
Lady, and thank you guys for hosting.
For sure. All right.
Thanks for coming on.
You take it easy.
All right, you guys too. Bye.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Christy's progress on the Open Leaderboard and her Instagram at Christy CrossFit. Don't forget to support her charity of choice, Barbells for Boobs, as well, for the chance to receive a personally worn, perspired-in piece of gear from this professional athlete babe. I hope that everyone will plan on tuning in next week when we talk with the one and only Dave Tate. That's right, just when you thought Power Athlete Radio couldn't get any better, the crew interviews founder and CEO of Elite FTS. Not only is Dave a successful powerlifter in his own right, he's an accomplished author and speaker, preaching the value of continuing education by way of experience and, of course, patience. Speaking of patience, you'll have to wait till number 99 for that one. Until then, bye!